You need to study, and so do I.
Welcome to Prep With Me, a project to help both you and me prepare for a certification exam. This series topic is the SHRM-CP. Our guide is the SHRM Body of Applied Skills and Knowledge. First cluster topic, leadership. There are 3 behavioral competencies in the leadership cluster: leadership and navigation, ethical practice, and inclusion and diversity. Let's begin, though, with leadership and navigation. Lesson 1 focus topic is leadership theories. Number 1, trait theory. Trait theory suggests that a certain individual is actually naturally predisposed to be a leader because of their inherent qualities such as confidence, integrity, or intelligence. Trait theory assumes that leaders are born, not made, meaning leadership effectiveness somehow comes from personal characteristics rather than experience or training. This view of leadership has a set of traits that stem from the work of Thomas Carlyle and the Great Man theory. And at that time, the most famous leaders were either in the military or political figures, so that's how they saw traits observed. So now for the test. When you see options about innate personality traits or leaders possessing certain qualities, that's trait theory. Here's a practice question. According to trait theory, which statement best describes how leadership effectiveness is determined? A. It depends primarily on the leadership's ability to adapt to followers. B. It results from the leader's innate personal characteristics. C. It depends on situational factors, such as task structure. Or D. It develops through learned behaviors over time. The answer is B. It results from the leader's innate personal characteristics. On to number 2, behavioral theory. Behavioral theory says that leadership can be learned through observing and practicing effective behaviors, unlike trait theory, which assumes that leaders are born. Behavioral theory focuses on what leaders do, mainly how they balance task-oriented and people-oriented behaviors. This concept originated in the Ohio State and Michigan studies, which examined those 2 core dimensions, task-oriented, people-oriented, of leadership behavior. The Ohio State and Michigan studies, now you don't need to memorize them, but they are worth knowing because they establish the behavioral dimensions that SHRM questions reference indirectly. The Ohio State study identified 2 key behaviors of leaders: initiating structure, defining roles, setting goals, that's your task focus, and consideration, building trust and respect, people focus. Michigan studies reached a similar conclusion, labeling the same dimensions: product orientation and employee orientation. Now for the test. For behavior theory, look for an emphasis on leader actions and behavior that balance between structure and relationships. If a question contrasts a leader who pushes deadlines versus one who focuses on team morale, that's behavioral theory in action. So the best answer usually references balancing both. Now for a practice question. Behavioral leadership theory emphasizes which key factor in determining leadership effectiveness? A. Personal traits. B. Actions and observable behaviors. C. Followers' readiness level. Or D. Organizational context. The answer is B. Actions and observable behaviors. Number 3. Situational leadership theory. Percy Blanchard. Situational leadership theory holds that no single leadership style is the best. Instead, effective leaders adapt their approach based on followers' competence and commitment, or their readiness or the situation. The model identifies 4 styles: delegating, supporting, coaching, and directing, depending on the employee's developmental levels. Note that the old terms used to call it delegating, participating, selling, and telling. It's the same model though. For the test, watch for questions where leaders adjust direction and support depending on their employee readiness. That is situational leadership. Here's a question. Situational leadership theory is based on which principle? A. leadership style should change based on followers' competencies and commitment. B. Leadership effectiveness depends on position power. C. Leadership relies on intrinsic traits. Or D. The same style works in all contexts. The answer is A. Leadership style should change based on the follower's competence and commitment. That's situational leadership. Theory 4. Contingency theory by Fiedler. Contingency theory argues that leadership effectiveness depends on how well a leader's fixed style fits the situation. My memory cue is always Fred Fiedler has a fixed style. Contingency theory evaluates situational factors like leader-member relations, task structure, and position power to determine whether a task-oriented or relation-oriented leader will succeed. So for the test, if you see a scenario about matching leadership style to context or no single best way, that's contingency theory. It's the leader's style that is fixed. Here's a question. Fiedler's contingency theory states that leadership effectiveness depends primarily on A. The match between a leader's style and the situation. B. The ability to motivate through rewards. C. The leader's emotional intelligence. Or D. Followers' maturity level. The answer is A. The match between a leader's style and the situation. The next style is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership focuses on inspiring and motivating followers through vision, values, and shared purpose. Transformational leaders build trust, model high standards, and encourage innovation by appealing to followers' intrinsic motivation rather than just rewarding them. The 4 I's of transformational leadership are idealized influence. Leader is a role model for the team. Inspirational motivation. Leader motivates and inspires the team. Individual consideration. The leader genuinely cares about the team's needs, feelings, and well-being. And intellectual stimulation. Leaders encourage teams to be innovative and creative. So for the test, words like vision, inspiration, change, or motivation through purpose, that should point to transformational leadership. Here's a question. Which of the following behaviors best represents a transformational leader? A. Monitoring performance closely. B. Offering incentives for meeting goals. C. Inspiring followers through vision and values. Or D. Avoiding involvement in daily operations. The answer is C. Inspiring followers through vision and values. That's transformational leadership. Moving on to transactional leadership. Transactional leadership relies on a system of rewards and punishments to achieve compliance and performance. It focuses on structure, rules, and goal attainment rather than personal growth or inspiration. For the test, if a leader offers bonuses, discipline, or contingent rewards to maintain the performance, that is transactional leadership. Let's try a question. Transactional leadership primarily relies on A. Inspirational motivation. B. Emotional connection with followers. C. Exchange of rewards and punishments. Or D. Empowering employees to self-lead. The answer is C. Exchange of rewards and punishments. The next theory is servant leadership. Servant leadership emphasizes serving others first. These leaders prioritize their followers' needs, development, and well-being, believing that by supporting others, organizational goals will just naturally be achieved. Where traditional leadership may focus on strategy, goals, or financial performance, servant leaders go further and focus on providing employees developmental opportunities. Under the 10 traits associated with servant leadership, you'll hear listening, empathy, awareness, healing, persuasion, conceptualization, foresight, stewardship, commitment to growth, and building community. So for the test for servant leaders, look for descriptions of leaders who focus on empathy, community, or empowering others, rather than usage of their authority or power. So, question. Servant leadership focuses on which primary goal? A. Organizational profits. B. Leader authority. C. Serving and developing others. Or D. Increasing efficiency. Well, it's C. Serving and developing others. Participative or democratic leadership. Participative leaders involve employees in decision-making. Democratic. They value their input before finalizing any actions. This style fosters engagement, ownership, and creativity, but can slow down processes when fast decisions are required. With this leadership style, employees are much more heavily involved in organizational activities than in other leadership styles. For the test, scenarios where the leader seeks input or builds consensus that should reflect participative leadership. Here's a question. The participative leader model emphasizes A. Centralized decision-making. B. Employee involvement and input. C. Strict policy enforcement. Or D. Autocratic authority. And the answer is B. Employee involvement and input. Laissez-faire. Laissez-faire leadership is a hands-off approach, delegated, where leaders provide minimal direction and allow employees high autonomy. It can lead to innovation with self-motivated, skilled teams like research-based organizations, but that would cause confusion if more guidance is needed. For the test, when a leader avoids involvement or leaves decisions entirely up to the team, that's laissez-faire. Here's a question. Which statement best describes laissez-faire leadership? A. It provides high structure and supervision. B. It empowers employees by granting high autonomy. C. It ensures close control of task performance. Or D. It centers on exchanging rewards for results. The answer is B. It empowers employees by granting high autonomy. Leader-Member Exchange Theory, or LMX. LMX theory emphasizes that leadership occurs through individual relationships between leaders and each follower. High-quality relationships, or the in-group, lead to trust, support, and high performance, while lower-quality exchanges, the out-group, may cause disengagement. For the test, focus on relationship quality and dyadic exchanges, one-on-one, not charisma or authority. Question. Leader-member exchange theory emphasizes which aspect of leadership? A. The leader's charisma. B. The quality of leader-follower relationships. C. The use of rewards for compliance. Or D. The balance between task and people orientation. The answer is B, the quality of leader-follower relationships. Charismatic leadership. Charismatic leaders influence through personal charm, vision, and emotional appeal. They build devotion and enthusiasm by connecting with followers' emotions and values, often inspiring strong loyalty. For the test, when the question highlights magnetism, emotional influence, or followers' admiration, that's charismatic leadership. Question. Charismatic leadership primarily depends on a leader's A. Reward system. B. Personal magnetism and emotional influence. C. Technical expertise. D. Ability to delegate. The answer is B. Personal magnetism and emotional influence. Inclusive leadership. Inclusive leadership involves actively seeking out and valuing diverse perspectives, ensuring that all voices are heard and respected in decision-making. It emphasizes belonging, fairness, and psychological safety as the drivers of team performance. Inclusive leaders are aware of their own biases and the dynamics of diversity. They demonstrate empathy, actively listen, foster collaborative environments where everyone feels safe to share ideas, and they empower individuals. For the test, clues like diverse input, equity, belonging, or creating psychological safety, that's your clue to inclusive leadership. Here's a question. Inclusive leaders are best described as those who A. Encourage diverse perspectives and psychological safety. B. Focus primarily on task efficiency. C. Make decisions without group input. Or D. Emphasize uniformity in the workplace. The answer is A. Encourage diverse perspectives and psychological safety. Now, let's do a rapid review quiz. Question 1. An HR manager believes strong leaders are born with confidence and charisma. This belief reflects which leadership perspective? A. Behavioral theory. B. Contingency theory. C. Trait theory. Or D. Servant leadership. The answer is C. Trait theory. The idea that leadership results from inborn characteristics is the core assumption of trait theory. Question 2. A supervisor regularly provides clear direction while also checking in on team morale and relationships. Which theory best describes that approach? A. Contingency theory. B. Behavioral theory. C. Transformational leadership. Or D. Transactional leadership. The answer is B. Behavioral theory. The rationale: balancing task and people-oriented behaviors is central to behavioral leadership. Question 3. An HR leader provides close supervision to new employees, but then later delegates full responsibility as the employees gain skill. Which theory explains the change? A. Servant leadership. B. Situational leadership. C. Transactional leadership. Or D. Trait theory. The answer is B. Situational leadership. Adapting style to follower readiness is the hallmark of situational leadership. Question 4. A task-oriented leader excels in structured environments, but then struggles in ambiguous ones. Which theory best explains that pattern? A. Contingency theory. B. Behavioral theory. C. LMX theory. Or D. Servant leadership. The answer is A. Contingency theory. Effectiveness depends on situational fit between style and context for contingency theory. Question 5. A plant manager motivates employees by communicating a bold vision of safety and innovation that connects to their pride in the company. Which leadership style is that? A. Transformational leadership. B. Transactional leadership. C. Servant leadership. Or D. Participative leadership. The answer is A. Transformational leadership. Transformational leaders use vision and inspiration to align people with purpose. Question 6. A supervisor establishes production quotas and gives bonuses for exceeding them. Which theory best explains that leader's behavior? A. Transactional leadership. B. Transformational leadership. C. Laissez-faire leadership. Or D. Participative leadership. The answer is A. Transactional leadership. That's where rewards for performance are the defining features. Question 7. A manager spends time coaching team members on personal growth and career goals before discussing productivity metrics. Which leadership style does that demonstrate? A. Behavioral theory. B. Transformational leadership. C. LMX theory. Or D. Servant leadership. The answer is D. Servant leadership. Servant leaders prioritize people's well-being and growth above short-term performance. Question 8. Before finalizing a new benefits policy, an HR director invites employees from multiple departments to discuss options and concerns. This reflects which leadership style? A. Participative leadership. B. Transactional leadership. C. Contingency theory, or D. Servant leadership? The answer is A. Participative leadership. That's where you seek input before decisions that aligns with participative leadership. Question 9. A leader gives experienced engineers full freedom to decide project timelines and methods, intervening only if asked. This reflects A. Participative leadership, B. Laissez-faire leadership, C. Servant leadership, or D. Transactional leadership? The answer is B. Laissez-faire leadership, where minimal direction and maximum autonomy define that laissez-faire leadership. 10. A manager works closely with a few trusted employees, giving them more responsibility and visibility while others receive only basic guidance. Which theory describes this? A. LMX theory, B. Behavioral theory, C. Contingency theory, or D. Servant leadership? The answer is A. LMX theory, which focuses on the varying quality of individual relationships within a team. Question 11. An executive rallies employees by passionately describing how their work will change the world, creating excitement and loyalty. Which leadership style is that? A. Behavioral leadership, B. Transactional leadership, C. Charismatic leadership, or D. Contingency theory? The answer is C. Charismatic leadership. Charismatic leaders inspire through emotional appeal and personal energy. Question 12. Launching a new program, a leader invites employees of varied backgrounds to share experiences to ensure policies work for all groups. Which leadership theory applies? A. Transactional leadership, B. Behavioral theory, C. Servant leadership, or D. Inclusive leadership? The answer is D. Inclusive leadership. Inclusive leaders intentionally seek diverse viewpoints to improve fairness and belonging. Great work, everybody. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in lesson 2.